So last week, I took a look at using CSS-Styled logging inside my Chrome developer tools. And we can do this using some string interpolation. If we open up the console here, we can see we can do console.log, and then we do %c, hello, and then we can do font style italic. And you can see here that the output is italic. Now, I took this concept and I wrapped it up into an object called echo, and echo was a chalk-inspired logging utility that essentially encapsulates a lot of the complexity around all of this stuff. Now, I got to thinking, the pain point for this now is that I have to explicitly install this script into my application in order to be able to use it. Well, what if I could remove that point of friction by actually loading the echo library into the current page as a Chrome browser extension? Now, I've never done this before, but I've gone through the Chrome developer website, or at least parts of it, and what I'm seeing is that I can actually inject scripts into pages using content scripts. Now, based on the kind of hello world example, we can load this using an unpacked extension. So if we go into our extensions area of Chrome, which would have also been available under more tools here and extensions, we have this load unpacked extensions option. So I can click into this, and here is my version of the extension, and we're going to be looking at this code in a second. But if we just hit select here, we can see that my echo.log MVP is being injected, is being loaded rather. So now if we come back over here and let's open up our DevTools again and let's reload the page, we can see that on the developer.chrome.com website, which is obviously content I do not own, I can now do echo.log, echo as alert. Hello there. This is sweet. And there we go. I'm using the Echo utility library on the Developer Tools website because I'm actually injecting the Echo object into the page using this Chrome browser. So let's dig a little deeper into what's actually going on here. Well, if we jump back into our Chrome developer site and we look at the elements, and we look at the very top, we can see at this very top of the HTML page, we have two script tags, and we can see from this metadata here that these were injected by the console.log Chrome extension. So the first one here is all of the code that takes to define the window.echo object, and then the second injected script is just a whole bunch of custom stylers based on the web safe colors, or the named colors, and then also actually it gets cut off here, but this would also have included things that I had. So for example, that as tag is being defined there. So how do we get these two scripts to show up? Well, it turns out that there is some complications when using Chrome browser extensions, which is that they don't really want you to modify the window object, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. So in order to do that, what we have to do is programmatically create these script objects and then inject them into the page so that when they execute, they're executing in the context of this parent page, which then allows us to modify the window object. So how do we do this? So if we look at the code that I loaded as that unpacked extension, it has two files. It has a manifest file and a bootstrap file. The manifest file has this content scripts, and what this is going to tell the Chrome extension to do is look at the various URLs, and when I match either the Chrome developer tools, the website, or my local development environment, it's going to inject this bootstrap.js file as the document start lifecycle event, right? Run at document start. And what this is going to do is it's going to inject or execute the bootstrap.js file before anything else has executed on the page, including the natural content of that page itself, which is again why we get to be able to play around with content here before anything else on the page has executed. Now, the bootstrap file is kind of large because it has to include all of the echo functionality. I can't subsequently inject, well, let me start here. I could have within the Bootstrap file linked to an echo.js file as a sort of publicly accessible part of my extension. The problem with that is that it loads asynchronously. And in order for me to be able to leverage the echo library effectively, I need it to actually be there in the page, the way that the console.log function is always in the page. I can't have it load asynchronously because I might then end up referencing it before it's available. So the Bootstrap.js file has to generate those script tags and then actually embed as the content of those script tags my echo.js functionality. So the way this works is I have a utility function here, inject script content, and I'm giving it a function. And what that's going to do, an actual function reference, and what that's going to do is it's going to create a script tag, and it's going to take that function, convert it to a string, which is essentially going to give us the source code of the function itself. It's going to wrap that inside of an IIFE, or an immediately invoked function expression. It's going to set all of that content as the text content of that script tag, and then it's going to append that script tag to the document element, which is going to inject it here after our HTML tag. And there's nothing else magical going on here. All of this code is the code from the previous post. So if we jump down here to the install echo script content, you can see this is the actual inlined content of my echo library, right? We don't have to go through that directly. That you can always review the previous post. The one difference here is that in my previous post, I was returning the core API proxy object, and in this case, I'm just assigning it directly to the window.echo object here. And again, because this Bootstrap.js file is going to inject a script tag, and that script tag is going to execute in the context of the parent page, this window object at runtime is the parent page's window object, which again is why I have to do that as a dynamically injected script, because otherwise I couldn't access the parent page's window object inside of a publicly linked script. Chrome wants everything to run in a more isolated and message-oriented communication context. As far as I can see, again, this is the first time I've ever looked at a Chrome browser extension. So there you go, pretty exciting. Now it again allows me to inject my echo utility library into whatever pages I want. Obviously, in this case, based on the manifest, I'm hard coding that to be my local development environment, so it wouldn't run on other pages. But since I'm loading this directly off of my local file system, I can come in, make changes, and actually we can see the changes right in place. So if we go into my Bootstrap file here, and let's see, I think we can do it right here. So if we do console.log hello world, and now if I go into my extensions and we just refresh this, and what that's going to do is pull the latest content off of my file system into the browser extension. And if we refresh here, you can see I get hello world twice, obviously because I'm calling this twice here. So this allows me to develop the Chrome extension locally, test it locally, and actually really just consume it locally as well. So pretty exciting.